welcome to the Gift Show. My guest today is Riccardo Sai. Riccardo, you're very welcome on the Gift Show.
Hi, John. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
You're most welcome. I saw a report there very recently, and what it said was that Germany's supply of gas is at 100% capacity. Now, we might have a cold winter ahead of us yet. We don't know. But whether they have enough capacity is open to debate. Time will tell. Riccardo, you live in London. How have you been impacted by the cost of living and inflation?
Well, yeah, that's a very interesting question, and it's quite. I'll try to answer to that. Yeah, I think we all have been impacted by what's happening. So, I mean, no doubt, even my business and myself personally have been impacted. So, I try to be quite positive about the situation and really kind of trying to look at the positive side of that. I mean, we've been through quite a lot, I would say, in the last 3 years. We've been through recession, COVID, a war in Ukraine, etc., etc. So, so my attitude is really kind of to look at the positive of what's happening. So, in terms of business, yes, it has been impacted, but at the same time, you know, there has been a lot of new opportunities, and I'm about to launch my new company, Storo, which is a visual storytelling agency focusing on purpose-driven businesses. So I'm quite excited about that. Maybe not the best time to launch a company, but at the same time, I'm very excited. So,
in other words, you're taking the positive out of this whole situation. And fair play to you, Riccardo. And I wish you well with your new business venture.
thank you.
Because being able to tell a story in terms of business goes a long way towards developing a business brand. But that's a subject for another day. Have you noticed, for example, you know, if you're traveling into London, the city centre, have you noticed any increases in train fares, bus fares, the cost of eating out? For example, if you're meeting a client in the city centre, have you noticed any increase in the cost of coffee and beverages, food, for example?
Well, absolutely. I'm Italian, so the first thing that I notice is the increase of the cost of olive oil, coffee, and pasta, which are the three most important things that I have in my in my kitchen. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, everything is more expensive, no doubt about that.
That's a very good point that you're making there. I was just talking to Susan Heaton Wright a couple of weeks ago, and she lives in the home counties, and she was saying that the cost of, you know, travel into London on the trains is becoming very expensive, but the service levels are no better than they were maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. So people are paying
Yeah,
more, but the service hasn't actually improved in real terms. What advice
absolutely.
do you have for the average family or the vulnerable in our society who could be struggling to cope with this cost living crisis or inflation uh, pressure?
I think this is an opportunity really to think about, to reconsider how we relate to the environment, to the planet. I mean, obviously, it's a bit late, but there's more interest now in kind of different kind of energy providers, which offer kind of much more clean energy rather than the oil type of energy. So in a way, that's a great. It's a moment really kind of to really reconsider about our consumption, what we consume. Do we really need that? Because sometimes the risk in this kind of situation is that we tend to go for the cheaper options. The problem with that is that cheaper option doesn't mean that it will last for longer. So I mean, there was a recent advertising on of Patagonia, for example, who were during Black Friday, really encouraging people not to buy a new garment from them, but actually to repair it, and they would do that for you as well. So so I think it's interesting how the advertising industry is also changing. So, I mean, there's a lot of greenwashing, purpose washing as well, but there's a lot of brands who are moving in a different direction, which is really kind of reconsidering how, as a society and as consumers, we consume. Because the problem is that a kind of a narrow-minded vision of how we consume is to really think about the short term and the price of what we're buying, but not really thinking about kind of a long-term, a more long-term vision. And that's the main problem that we have in our home, in our kind of daily life. But that if you can expand our vision, that's exactly the same problem that we have at a global level, where the different governments, they are not really thinking about what they can do together to really make a positive impact on the planet and reaching net zero by 2050. But they focus mainly on how can they really sustain their economy within their own boundaries. And I think that's the problem, really. So I think, in a way, what kind of advice I can give? I think really kind of to think about more carefully about what can I do, not necessarily for the environment, because the two things go together, but also what can you do for they allow you to have to consume less and to consume more kind of carefully and more wisely.
Yeah. That's a good point you're making there. And I was talking to another person very recently called Louise Lally, and she talked about sustainability of supply chain and the fact that customers in the retail sector are becoming more conscious. And she's seen a big development in people, rather than buying garments outright, they rent them as needed be. And there are businesses out there like Rent the Runway, where you can hire out garments and return them after use, and then they're
Absolutely.
hired out again to another person. So that's one way of saving the environment, because an awful lot of water is used in cotton production and refining cotton. And you're also talking there about the whole area of energy and electricity use. And for example, in France, they're heavily dependent on nuclear energy.
Mm-hmm.
And now, for example, the UK, on the other hand, the governments over there in the last, say, 10, 15, 20 years, they've heavily subsidized investment on the part of companies in offshore wind power. The UK is one of the leading countries in the world in terms of generating electricity from offshore wind power. That's a very commendable way of looking at that.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, there are countries like Ireland, for example, where we've decided to go down the route of in-country or onshore wind farms, and we're lagging behind in terms of developing offshore wind power. Similarly, with Germany, they're keeping nuclear power stations open throughout the winter to help alleviate any issue they might have in terms of shortfall in electricity generation. But they're lagging behind the UK, for example, and well behind the UK in terms of developing offshore wind power. Now, of course, Germany has part of its coast on the Baltic Sea where there's less wind compared to the North Sea that the UK is on.
Mm.
So there's all swings and roundabouts. And of course, in Italy, what they've done is the government over there they reduced the carbon tax on fuel. And it's actually cheaper for people to travel to Italy from Germany, Austria, Switzerland to fill their car in Italy and then go back than to purchase diesel or petrol in their own countries, which is a higher carbon tax. So, and in countries where you have, say, the Green Party in government, they can cause issues in terms of, do you want to explore, for offshore gas? Our own government here in Ireland, the Green Party is involved in that, and they're against any more exploration for offshore oil or gas. They don't want it. They see that as being carbon, it's eating to our carbon footprint. So there's many swings and roundabouts. So you've made good points there. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience before I let you go?
Well, I think one point that I think is very important is that at this time it's very difficult to look beyond our boundaries and kind of really to feel stuck at a personal level, at a business level as well. So I think one solution is to feel more connected. So, and there's two ways that you can feel more connected. So feel connected with yourself. So this is an opportunity to really kind of reconsider that. So your and really kind of focus on your well-being as well. And So what makes you happy? So are you happy at these current times? What can you do to feel better about yourself and about your actions, about what you're doing? Are you seeing enough friends? So I mean, of course, it's very personal, and people can feel connected with themselves in different ways. I mean, and of course, there's people that can help you as well if you're really stuck in that sense. But um, I think the key is really kind of to almost like take this as an opportunity to go within and just really kind of to do that kind of inner journey that in a way will lead you to find what is really beautiful about you, because I think I'm coming from a perspective where I think we are all beautiful creatures and we are incredibly powerful and we have incredible stories within ourselves. And so this is an opportunity to really rediscover that and kind of really to start that journey. So the other options, which goes quite alongside the first one, so kind of reconnecting with yourself, is also to reconnect yourself with the rest of the world, with other people, with the planet. So really kind of shifting your focus from yourself, from inside yourself to the outside, and that's a bit what I was saying before about really shifting perspective, because sometimes you're so stuck that you can't really see beyond yourself. So kind of shifting the focus and seeing and kind of rediscovering what you can do for other people, what can you do for your planet, and that's true at a personal level, but also at a business level. So this is a great opportunity, as COVID was as well, and a lot of people like changed their careers as well, and really kind of started to do something completely different, which was more purposeful, which was more aligned to their own values. So I think this is an opportunity again to really refocus our priorities and really kind of asking ourselves those difficult questions, which are, what I'm doing is really what I want to do, because we live like we don't know how long we're gonna live. We don't know how long we're gonna be on this earth. So we really have to think about so our impact on others people's lives and on the planet as well. So with a sense of responsibility, but also with a sense of excitement as well, because I think there's so much what we can do that we are already doing, because that's the other thing, so acknowledging the fact that we are already winning. Being alive, waking up in the morning is already a victory. We are already winning in being alive. It's a privilege as well, but also it's a responsibility. So, and it's so shifting the focus from ourselves to the others. It's an incredible opportunity to really feel excited again about our job and our purpose. So yes, of course, that we are through a recession. Inflation is rising, but and there's other people that can give advice on what to do in terms of how to tackle that at a personal and business level. But I think my focus is really kind of to travel within yourself and also take this as an opportunity to really to do something that is meaningful. And if you haven't done it before, why not now?
That's a great point you're making there, Riccardo. So effectively what you're saying is look within yourself and exactly how can you help people? So identify your purpose in life. And once you've done that, it's a case of getting your story right, getting out there to meet people, connect with people, and show them this is the journey I've been on. I can help you to overcome a problem in your life, and therefore you connect with people. So what you're saying effectively is, even in a recession, there's going to be opportunities for entrepreneurs to find their voice and to offer a very good service to customers and potential clients. That's effectively what you're saying. But it's a case of looking within yourself and finding that story, finding your purpose, and then going out there and talking to people and getting them to convert them from prospects into customers. That's
Absolutely.
that's effectively what you're
Absolutely.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I just wanted to add as well a quote which I think is very relevant. It's a quote by Nichiren Daishonin, which is a Japanese Buddhist monk. He did write, "If you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your own path." And
Yeah.
again, is these what I was saying before about really kind of focusing on someone else's path. So at that, what are you doing with your business? What kind of path are you lighting through your business? Because effectively, when you do that, then you become a happier person, a more fulfilled person, and a person that can really feels alive, feels excited about what they're doing. And there's nothing better than living a life full of purpose, because you wake up, thinking what I'm doing has got meaning, has got I'm doing something that is going to have a positive impact on other people and on the planet as well. So I think that's really it's it's I think for me is a very important point, and what I do in a way, I um I help entrepreneurs and brands to show those stories and to communicate those stories visually to the rest of the world, because there's nothing better than once you've done that kind of journey in terms of looking for your purpose, your values, the meaning of your business as well. I think if you really believe in what you're doing, that there is a sense of responsibility as well in kind of spreading to other businesses as well and other people what you are doing and why you're doing it, because there's nothing more powerful than that. And images and stories and films are incredibly powerful tools to share that message with other people, and that's effectively what I do.
Yeah. So effectively what you're saying there is people shouldn't get consumed by all the negative news they're hearing in the media, whether it's on TV, on their tablet, their laptop, their smartphone. They should just try and concentrate on their own needs and how they can help people, and to be cognizant of the fact that prices are increasing. Try and take control of your life and find within yourself your own purpose and help people. That's effectively what you're
Absolutely.
saying. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, on that note, Riccardo, I should bring today's conversation, which I must say has been fantastic, to a close.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you.